Ethan.
Hey, Lisa.
How long have you been at Red Hat, and why do you like working here?
It has been about 3 years, and I love Red Hat's open culture. That's my favorite. How about you? How long have you been at Red Hat, and what do you like about being a UX designer?
Yeah, so I've been at Red Hat for about 2.5 years, and I love being in the UX team because it is a community of collaborative and creative individuals. And I could probably talk about it for hours, but we only have about 15 minutes, so why don't we get started?
Yeah.
As a show of hands, who here knows what UX is or what a UX designer does? Okay, that's a decent amount. I'm excited about that. It's actually a surprisingly difficult question, because if you ask 5 different people, you'll likely receive 5 different answers. So before we dive into UX specifically at Red Hat, let me give a brief overview about what UXD is and why you should know more about it. So UX stands for user experience, and user experience is a who, what, when, where, why, and how someone uses a product. And all of those questions help build our users' interaction with our company or our product. And as designers, we must also take into account the stakeholder and business needs, wants, and goals. Our process uses the user-centered design process. And this process uses tools and techniques in order to keep you, our user, top of mind throughout that entire customer journey and product lifecycle. So you may be wondering, why should I care about UX? And that's a good question. So I hope that we can give you a few reasons today. A lot of people think that designers wear a lot of black, always use a Mac, and doodle all day in their moleskin notebooks in an effort to make things look pretty. And while, I must admit, some of those things may be true, we are so much more than that. User-centered design uses research and analysis to crack that human behavior code through user observation and psychology. And we also use clean and simple clean UX flows in order to make a measurable difference in our customers' experience. So in our role as UX designers, we take things that are super difficult to explain into something that is really easy to understand. And we do this through concise in-product communication. So whether you are a beginner user or a returning user, you can use our product with ease. And did you know that it only takes a half a second to make a first impression of a UI? I know, I was always told, don't judge a book by its cover, but all judgment and jokes aside, that's why things like color palette and typeface and reusable design components are so crucial. And although they are important, we also must remember that they are only one part of that larger UX puzzle. And lastly, you should care about UX because it is collaborative and fun and challenging, yet super rewarding. And we, as designers, make up a community. And everyone here today is a community of OpenShift users. And we aim to rely and lean on our communities in order to help build each other up. And that's why when you help us through usability research and user interviews, we can help you do your job with greater ease and efficiency. Ethan?
Thanks, Lisa. Let me talk to you about user experience design team in Red Hat. We are holding steady and strong at 128 user experience design people, 12 Red Hat offices in 9 countries. It is always awesome to see the breadth of the world we cover. Our vision statement lays out our goal to be an open, collaborative leader in the creation of data-informed and desirable experiences that make powerful technology accessible. Everything we do, we think about how we are supporting our vision statement. So we are doing this with a team that is all about collaboration and teamwork. So many groups of people with various disciplines come together, such as content designers, UI engineers, interaction designers, research and analytics folks, and design system developers as well. Together, we support a wide range of Red Hat products, from OpenShift to RHEL and Ansible. Most importantly, without you, without customers, there is no Red Hat. So in UXD, we always think about how to design for our customers and how to include them in our design process. So caring about you, caring about customers is a part of our DNA. Lisa?
And in order to care about you, our customers, we must build empathy, which is that very first step of that user-centered design process I spoke about earlier. And that first step is research through discovery, or discovery through research. As a show of hands, who here has participated in a user research study? It doesn't have to be specifically at Red Hat, we won't be offended. It could have been a one-on-one user interview, maybe a focus group, or maybe it was even a qualitative survey. I saw we had a few hands. I'm really hoping that next year when we do this, everyone's hands just pop up. That will be a sign that this presentation worked. So here you'll see a little bit of an example of our process. During this discovery phase, we diverge, and that's where we explore our problem statements, and that's where we discover and do a lot of that discovery research. Then we move on to the definition phase, and during that definition phase, we converge as a team. And that's when we align on those data-based opportunities. Once we've really figured out what that problem is, the opportunities that we want to work on, then we move on to the development stage. And this phase is where we actually diverge again, and we ideate, and we iterate, and we come up with a bunch of ideas, and then we converge one more time in that delivery phase, and that's when we use analytics and metrics in order to refine our designs. And that first step of that phase, that discovery phase, is when we use tools like user interviews and diary studies and field research in order to explore that problem space. So what is a diary study? A diary study is self-reported data from our users on things like your behavior and your interactions and your emotions associated with every interaction throughout that task and the task that you wish to accomplish. This is typically done over days, weeks, and maybe even months. Whereas field research gives us the opportunity as UX designers to actually observe you complete your tasks or accomplish your goals in the context of which you do your job. This really helps us focus on learning through observation. We aim to learn from you and meet you where you are. So whether you're in the UI or the CLI, that is irrelevant to us. We want to make sure that we are improving experiences and not just improving in-context UIs. Lastly, we have user interviews. And user interviews can be done one-on-one or in groups. When they're done in groups, they're considered focus groups. We actually have the opportunity to do a lot of these virtually, so we can hear from people all over the world, which is really awesome. And sometimes they're even done in settings like these and in person. And did I mention that we are going to be in that back corner of the room all afternoon? So we have some really fun interaction studies that you can get involved with. They're quick, and we can have a conversation in that back room, and I encourage you to stop by. So once we've defined that problem space and our database opportunities, we can move on to this ideation phase, which I spoke about. So now we are diverging again. The first step is to use tools like personas and journey maps, and this really helps us take all of our research insights and align together as a team. You can see this gives us a holistic view of all of the user's interactions with our product. And we can map things like the cognitive demand associated with each task, as well as the emotional experience. And sometimes it can be an emotional roller coaster, right? And that's important for us to know and learn about you and what you're feeling throughout the entire process. This specific example, we were trying to figure out and learn more about an admin's ability to monitor all GPU usage on a cluster and the costs associated with it as well. So once we've mapped out that existing current experience, we want to map out that future experience as well. And so we do this through user flows. And user flows, again, we map out each task associated and all the steps that are involved in order to complete that task and that goal. This is typically done collaboratively with our engineers and PMs and designers as well. Once we've completed figuring out that future phase and that kind of idealistic map, we can begin to actually do the design part. We can map out some wireframes. You can see we start super simple. And the reason why we start so simple is so we can get focused on the overall design layout and the design vision. And once those product requirements have matured a little bit and we have a little bit more information, we can add in things like content design and basic user interactions. And this really helps us understand that functional requirement without getting too distracted by any kind of visual design details. Ethan?
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. At the design phase, we prioritize UX tasks and get them ready for implementation. We have a few solid design toolkits that anyone at UXD can feel confident to leverage in their workflow. The UXD Hub is the first tool. It is an ever-evolving place where we contribute our work, guidelines, and research. The Hub's core mission is to help our team deliver consistent product experiences. The second tool is Patternfly. It promotes design commonality and improves user experience across products. It is currently used to unify the styling and behavior of Red Hat products and solutions. So, among various UX research methods, usability testing is one approach to integrating user evidence into our products. Testing is performed at any time during the development lifecycle. So in this example, we ran a usability test to gather feedback on our trusted software supply chain experience. The goal was, by observing users as they set up CI/CD pipelines, to identify points of friction and usability issues we could improve. So out of this study, UX research folks found many terminology-related usability issues, such as applications versus components, and application degraded versus deployment fail. In addition, UX metrics and optimization are ways to measure our user experience. The data provides a quick understanding of what's working and what's not. Monitoring metrics is crucial, determining how effective some of the design components are. It is also important to understand the whole user journey and identify opportunities to optimize their user experience. A good way to start is to look at user feedback and analyze usage data. Lisa?
So as you can see, design is an extremely iterative process. We have two major loops. There's this discovery phase, and then there's this delivery phase. During the discovery phase, we're really aiming to build the right thing, and we do this through those user research methodologies that I mentioned earlier. And in that delivery phase, we're focusing on building that thing the right way. And that's when we pull in those analytics and metrics and we start to refine and deliver. We want to thank you all for coming here today and listening to us UX designers speak on behalf of UXD at Red Hat. We really hope that you learned a thing or two, and we really hope that we got you excited and wanting to participate in user research studies moving forward. We have a QR code here that you can actually scan. It takes about 2 seconds. All we ask for is your name and your email. We have a few really exciting upcoming research opportunities, some on CLI versus UI, security, observability, AI. I'm probably missing some, but there's a list that you can choose from if you want to actually pick which ones that you think you would be most interested in. And again, stop by that back right corner, and we are excited to hear from you. Thanks again.